Hello, this is Dave from cheapbooks.com. I am playing Cities in Motion 2. This is my second city. Excuse me. My first city became too large that the game won't save it anymore. It runs out of memory. So I started a new city. It's going to be a little bit more compact and efficient. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to fill in the gaps with roads such as this space over here that's unused. I'm going to fill it in so that some buildings can be constructed over here. And in some cases, such as this one right here, I'm going to use one-way roads. And the reason why is because they take less space and the building should still be built. And I don't think that the traffic flow will be interrupted or anything like that. I'm sure that the traffic will continue to flow on these roads. I don't think they're going to be high traffic streets. And there's always a possibility that nothing will ever be built here. That can definitely happen. And I will build one going under here, like so. And hope for the best. I hope that some buildings get built over here. You can see one building has already been built. We've got space over here. And the question is, how do we connect to it? It's going to be difficult. Maybe I'm going to have to use a thinner one-lane road. Perhaps I will go through here, which might destroy a building. We're going to find out real soon. Yeah, it destroyed a building. And then I'm going to go through the middle of the empty space. And because it's a one-way road, it has to reconnect somewhere else. Otherwise, cars won't use it. So I'm going to have it reconnect right there. And hopefully, the end product will have more buildings than we had before. You can see there's an empty space over here, which I would love to use. I'm going to connect from this road. And it might be a complete waste of time. From there to there, and there to, I suppose, here. And we'll hope to have some more buildings over here. You'll notice that there's empty space over here. I think the best way to do this is to put a line like this through the center. Over here, you'll see that there's actually a building that's not connected to a road. And I've seen that before. I don't know why that happens. A lot of the space to build is going to be along a highway. Because when they designed the game, they made it so that the highway was not efficiently placed as compared to the roads alongside of it. And I have no idea if this is going to work. It might be a complete waste of time. Maybe I'll put the road closer to the highway like so. And hopefully it'll fill in all those gaps. And I will do it up to here. Got a big space over here. Perhaps I could do the same. Continue this road down to here. build across through the center. Like that. And then like that. And maybe we'll see some new development over here. Housing. I'm thinking maybe a street like that. Would be really temporary. I don't think it solves the problem. You need something more like a curve like that. Yeah, I think that's better. And over here, we've got a gap. Maybe like this. Good, that'll work. Let's see what else we could do. We got some gap space over here. I'm going to build this road to here. I'm going to take it right down what I believe to be the center of the space. So I'm kind of putting it in the middle of the left and the right, and then I'm going to reconnect it to that road. Okay. With that little tunnel, that should give me some extra buildings. Here's another gap. So I'm going to connect from here, maybe from here to here, something like this. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Try to make use of the existing intersections as much as possible. And I suppose I can make a road that goes along the water here. I wonder if that would work. The only way to know is to try and find out. And this is the first time I'm building a road like this along the water, so I don't know if it's going to work or not. I know that a lot of the other ones will. And it does take a long time. Sometimes you'll see buildings appear immediately, and sometimes you just won't. This is going to be a very difficult place to make a connection, because that intersection is too complicated. So I'm going to just do it like that. It's going to be weird having that little intersection there, but if I have to remove it later, I'll just fix it later. Here's another place I could build, probably no. Maybe over here. Okay, so the next thing to do is to just build a new neighborhood somewhere. And I guess this is where it's going to be. I've got this road which looks like 3 by 3, and I'm guessing that it is this road here. And I'm going to continue this road. You want to build reasonably short segments so that it doesn't end up being tunnels and bridges, because obviously buildings won't build along tunnels and bridges. As you can see, we did get some bridges in there. They're going to have to go. You can't have that. So I did do it wrong. The surface is not flat. I'm going to have to build shorter. So I'm going to build from here to here, and then to here, and then to here. And it's not going to be perfect, but it should reduce the number of bridges. The bridge shows up right there. We have a bridge because the sides of the roads have like a white railing on them, and now we don't. So if you see that white railing, that means you got a bridge. Let's see if this is better. Yeah, this is more onto the slope of the land, so we should be able to pack more buildings in on this street. But it looks like I got a bridge over here. Oh no, that's fine. Okay, so I did that part. Now the question is, how am I going to move horizontally? I suppose I'm going to use the same type of road because it packs in hopefully more denser buildings. And the end that I placed before near the water is very likely to end up crossing over the water at some point. Just not necessary right now. Okay, so I got a connection there. And it looks like there's no bridges. But it is steep. On the steep parts, you're not going to get buildings. And I'm going to have to build a road behind it. I'm going to build a one-way road over here. And that should allow more buildings to develop along that road that I just placed. Yeah, there's one now. 2. They are showing up. This road is probably going to go across like this as a bridge, and I'm guessing it will connect to there. And of course the one-way road will do something similar. We'll have it go this way. I guess it won't. So the original plan was to have it come up like this and then over. Okay, so we've got some more buildings coming in. Unfortunately, I don't know how to tell how far apart to build to the next row. You just gotta guess. The game designers plotted everything out perfectly for optimal use, and unfortunately I don't know how to do that. I thought about measuring the block sizes used for the game, but I haven't done that. So I'm going to build out to here. I realize that there is a bridge section. You can see that there's a little tiny bridge there, but it looks like that has to be there. There's no way I'm going to get around that one. And I'm going to build some one-way roads going like this. And these might be complete failures, I don't know. We'll have to see once the game gets going. Okay, hope for the best. So again, this is a one-lane road. I'm sorry, one-way road that is going to head across the map. Now, let's move on to the next block. The next block will be built using a regular 3-lane road, I guess about that wide. Looks like we're going to have a little bridge segment. Little I can do about that. Going to keep on building. And this is tedious work, but luckily once it's done, it's done. And there's no maintenance cost for roads. It's different than things like you don't have to pay to keep these things running every month. You just lay them down. And I will drop another line, which I suppose will go over here. This block is going to be a little bit smaller than the other blocks. You can see that there's some white on the edges, which means that it's trying to put out a bridge. Yeah, it's still white, so I'm going to make the segments as short as I can. And keep on rolling. I don't want to have these one-way roads all over the place, so I'm going to use some regular roads, perhaps between here and here. Even though that looks like a bridge. Yeah, it's got a bridge in there. You can't always avoid the bridges. Sometimes you have to have bridges. I know the game is a couple of years old now, but don't let that turn you off to playing the game. It's a great game, and I think it's better than SimCity or that other game. What's it called? Sim Societies? I don't know what it's called. No, it's not Sim Societies. It's Skylines. I mean, Skylines is a stupid-looking game. I do own it, and I don't like it. And I see cool things that people are making on the internet using that game, but maybe I'll try it again, but I don't know. I really like the way this one works. I wish they had improved this game as opposed to releasing that Sim Society, Sim Skylines. So I just built this neighborhood, and as you can see, buildings are showing up, which is definitely good. And I would say that if you do want a big city, you have to plot out these developments, because otherwise it takes a long time for some of the buildings to show up. And right now, there's not a lot, but eventually this will be packed. There will be a lot more at some point. And they're going to need service. They're going to need public transportation. So it looks like I built a bridge unknowingly for some of these roads. Which explains why no one has showed up. Well, maybe not. It's a little weird, but they'll show up. Build it and they will come. Another reason why you want to build these out right now is because when you build your transit systems, you need to build it so that you get coverage everywhere. And if you don't have the buildings, then your transit systems will be incomplete. They might not extend far enough to reach all the buildings that you have. This is a little weird because, as you can see, you got these really big buildings, and a lot of the buildings just aren't that big. So how big do you build the block? I'm going to build it a little bit more conservatively because I want to make sure that all my space is used. I don't like it when we get all these empty spots on the map. So I hope they all fill in. And I'm going to use a one-way road going through the center here, just to make it easier. Now I know I placed some down earlier, but I don't remember where. It'd be nice to go see how they're doing. I wonder if this is it right here. Yeah, look at that. That road that I put in that went along the expressway, it looks like a lot of buildings have moved in. I'm pretty sure that this is the road that I put in right here. And one of the things that's cool, these models, for example, like this building, whatever it is, Rondo, I think it's the same design from the previous version. A lot of the buildings are the same, especially if you look at the industrial buildings, you'll recognize them from the first version of Cities in Motion. So this is the area that I'm working on. You'll note that my subway lines, if you look at the mini-map, you can see the green subway lines don't extend up to here. So my subway doesn't offer service up to here, and it was a poor decision to lay the subway line before the city was laid down. But it's a decision now I have to live with. So I shall continue working to make my residents happy. It looks like there's a missing connection on one of these roads. I'm guessing it's just a 2-lane road, so I'll put that down. Okay, next road. Making it a little bit more compact. Hopefully so that the bigger buildings will move in. Oh, it didn't connect on this side. That sucks. So I'm going to have to redo that one. I'm going to connect this block. Otherwise, I'd have to redo the whole road. And now just remove that small piece. And hopefully this will connect properly. So we got some bridges. Don't want that. You can see the rail on that bridge. I'm trying to get rid of it. And it looks like we're getting into some hilly terrain. And on the hilly terrain, you're going to get to the point where you just won't be able to build anymore. Okay, there's another good connection. Wow. Now I'm going to build the crossroads. Okay, so as you can see, I've done a lot of development here. I've got a pretty good base set. It's not perfect, it's kind of sloppy. That bridge, of course, I wish I didn't have it there. I could definitely remove it. Let's see if it's going to be easy to remove. Yeah, I think I could remove that. Lots of buildings have shown up. The population of my city certainly has increased. You can go over here to the data panel, over here where the graphs are, and you can look at city graphs and click on city population, and it will show you that the population is in fact increasing. Mostly it looks like blue collar. There's definitely been an increase in blue collar. Okay, so I've got that built. They need access to the highway. So I'm going to have to build some sort of a connection so that they can get onto the highway. And the best way to do it is either to split the highway or build an extension, and I prefer to build an extension. And it seems like there's a road over here that's perfect for building an extension to the highway. I think the best thing to do might be to go up the middle, which could include going behind some of the buildings, but perhaps using this road right here as one lane and then going through the middle behind the buildings as another lane. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with an expressway. I'm going to make it a 2-lane. 2 lanes should be sufficient. Connect from here to here. And I use the page up and the page down keys to adjust the height. It's going to be really weird because of the mountainous area. If you look at the final product, it might look quite strange. And I try to keep it at 8 meters all the time. You never know when you might have to build something that crosses over it. So you don't want to get in the habit of building things that are unnecessarily high. 8 is the minimum, so that's the height that we're going to build it at. Okay, so I've got it going one way. Now the question is to go the other way. Where should I put it? I think it's going to go right behind these buildings right here. From here to here, for example. Wow, look at that. It actually went under some buildings. That was pretty cool. And you have to build reverse, so I'm going to build from here. Let's see if I can build it straight across and see what happens. Nothing. I could easily build it underneath the ground and not have to worry much about the buildings that it might knock down. So I guess this one's going to be somewhat curved. I don't know, it doesn't make sense. I'm going to build it high enough. Wow, that's pretty high. Okay, so there's obviously a problem here with the height. I don't know, perhaps I did it wrong. Oh, now it'll do it. Okay. Let's see what's so funky about it. I have no idea. Actually, I do know what the problem is. It was going low and then high, which created the problem. I want to keep that building, so I'm going to try to go around him. Come on. Okay, so there's an issue here. I'm going to show you as an example. This bridge right here, as you can see, the ground beneath it has varying height, and it's just in such a way that the connection won't be made, probably because of something else. Oh, there it is. I guess I can make the connection. It just takes a little bit of luck. What ends up happening is one part, if it's too high in front of the bridge, then it won't make the connection. Is basically what happens. Okay, I know it looks a little funny, but I am going to first connect on... When you start placing elevated roads on hilly areas, you'll see what I mean about the slopes creating problems. You'll run into lots of problems. Okay, so I have to connect this bridge to the existing system. I'm going to make it go out a little bit further. Perhaps to here. And I will have a road that connects like this. And I'm going to make another one that goes over the road. Yeah, this is going to be an example of where it's going to be tough. Yeah, here's a perfect example. You got to go from here to here, and but you really want to start from over here. Like over here, I'll be able to make that connection. But on the other end, I won't. So I'm going to build it from here. It's going to look real funky. Let's see how weird it looks. Look how weird that is. But at least it works. Okay, let's see a connection from here to here. And from here the upper level. Oh, no connection. That sucks. Okay. One more time. I don't know, is that connected? I can't tell. No. Okay, so I'm not going to make that connection going that way. Perhaps if I try the other way. The bridge looks pretty high. So I'm going to rebuild this. I'm going to take this piece out, and I'm going to build going from here okay, so at 4 meters I can do it, but at 8 meters I can't. So I'm going to start at 4 meters. Okay, so here I can make the connection. And now we have to connect the eastbound to this northbound. Wow, I almost had it. I really want to make this work. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can connect from here to here. No. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, you see how you have all these weird problems because of the different slopes? I mean, I can definitely make it connect. It's just going to be a little weird. I'm going to need more space. This is going to have to go higher. Perhaps. I know it's not going to be clean. Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of problems connecting this road. It's going to take some patience. Eventually I'll get it. It has to do with the fact that there's a slope. Ooh, there it is. Nice. If I can connect those two, that would be perfect. I think I'll be able to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Just keep on trying. You have to have that 8-meter clearance. Otherwise it won't connect. Okay, so the next thing is to connect these two roads and then build on-ramps and off-ramps. Okay, finally got it. Get rid of these little tiny stubs. Okay, so we've got a highway that goes inward. At the end it's going to terminate. The question is where? I think this one could just as easily terminate right here. Like so. It'll begin the highway, and this one I think I'm going to remove... Oh, maybe I could do this. This would be interesting. Wow, look at that. Okay, and build some on-ramps and off-ramps to make the people happy. Okay, so I think there's going to be an on-ramp right here. There's no reason to have an off-ramp over here, so I'm not going to build one. And likewise, an on-ramp going in this other direction. Over here, on-ramp, on-ramp, and off-ramp. Well, looks like we're going to have problems with one of the off-ramps. Nope, it worked. And it's sad that we had to lose some buildings in the process. And I don't think it's necessary to build anything else. But if I can fit in an off-ramp over here, then I'll definitely take it. Or even over here, I'll take one. Okay, so that's how you extend the highway into that new neighborhood. As you can see, cars are definitely taking that highway. And now the same thing has to be done with the metro trains, the public service. Right now I'm checking to see if there's any traffic jams anywhere. And I don't see any. Over here we've got this highway, and it takes this wide swing. And I want to offer better service for the people that live in that inner city area. Because everyone loves their house to be right next to a highway on-ramp. Unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be able to build an off-ramp over here. So they'll have to do without. Okay, so we've got this area over here that doesn't have any highway. And what I'm going to do is build something that goes on one of these roads. And one of the things that you should do, if you're going to lay buses down and trams and things like that, you should do it before you start putting highways over your roads. Because obviously you won't be able to put the trams underneath the highways, or it'll be extremely difficult to do it. Now you'll note that there's a lot of people here waiting for the monorail, which I believe is line 1 and line 2. So I'm going to change the schedule. I'm going to go here to where schedule is, and I'm going to go to custom, and I'm going to make the end time 23:55, and the interval, let's start with 1.5, see what happens. And it says that the number of buses is 2 out of 6. We're going to see how that changes. 2 out of 13 runs twice as many buses. So I'm going to keep that. And I'm going to make an adjustment for Metro Line 2, which is going to be 1.5 minutes. No, maybe 2 minutes. Okay. So now that's 26 buses that we need. We only have 15. So I'm going to buy 11 more. And then we're going to buy a couple extras for the depot. Maybe 5 more. And depots are very cheap, so you can put 1 line per depot, no problem. There's no reason why you should put lots of lines. I heard of a guy who put like 150 lines on 1 depot, which is kind of senseless. Okay, so how am I going to build a highway through here? Obviously, there's this main road over here that would be perfect for a highway going through it. If I do lanes side by side, it's going to be 2 lanes going either way. But will it solve my traffic problem? I don't know. The other option is to put on some of these other roads, such as that one I just highlighted, put a couple lanes going one way, a couple lanes going the other way. Yeah, my concern is that if I make the highway going through the city, it's going to start taking a lot of traffic because people are not going to use the highway that goes around the outside. That's what's going to happen. So I'm going to need, and the other issue is you don't need to have the highway going in both directions. You can have the highway going in just one direction, and people will still take it. But it might not be as efficient as people want it to be. And the other option is to build the highway along the water. And then you're going to have those weird on-ramps and off-ramps. I really want to put it right through that center. I know it's going to be so packed, but I guess I'm going to do it. Okay, let's give it a shot. I'm thinking 2-lane road. It's going to start over here. And it's going to go to this area. And it's going to be over here. Hopefully it'll even fit. I have no idea if it'll fit or not. Okay, so it looks like it will. This... Come on, connect, please. Yeah, that's nice. It's not connecting. Okay. Okay, come on, work, please. Okay, so we've got one connection. And the other lane will be right next to it, like so. But it's going to go using a different route coming back. And I'm going to expand it. From this point onward, it's going to have more lanes. It's going to fill up all the space. And you want it to be straight, so this road is probably straight. It was designed by the game designer. So I'm sure I could take it as far as it goes, which I think is 4,000 meters is how long you can make a road segment. And it's got to be on that dotted line. You want to make it so that it's basically the yellow line that's in the center is going to be on is going to be a marker to show where the middle point is. I think I could give myself more room. I'm using the dashed line as the center. Yeah, that should be fine. So I should be able to pull it all the way down to here and connect with this and have no problem. We're gonna find out. Yep. Hopefully all the buildings remain standing. Yes, they do. Okay, from here on out, we could easily expand to like 4 lanes or something like that. So I might as well do it. Seems a little much. And it worked. Let's see what we got on the other end. Now over here, I'm going to curve it down like this. And it will connect to the highway system over here. I probably need it to be about here. And obviously coming back, it's definitely going to work. Okay, we can do it like that. No problem. Now all I got to do is make all the connections. So we're going to do a single lane which connects to here. and we're going to do a single lane which connects to here. And we will do, got to be very careful. Got that connection. Now the question is, how do we connect on the other side? Yeah, I'm probably going to have to delete what I built over here and do it again. From here, connection somewhat like that. I know it's not that pretty, but that's basically a T connection because it's shaped like a T. Now let's see if we can find the other end. I think it's this way. Yeah, there it is. I've got this 4-laner. He's going to go over here. And I'm going to use 2 lanes to connect down to here. And then the other 2 lanes will cross over. It might be difficult to connect going east, so I might not loop it forward, I might loop it backwards. But we're going to see what happens. Okay, so I did make the connection. For now, we'll leave it because it worked. But if it doesn't work out, I could always have it so that it loops in the opposite direction. Now we have to make the connection for this road, which is going to be a 1-lane connection. I could easily just connect it like that. I'm going to connect it over the existing road. And I need to have this lower road connect to that same connection. Okay, I think I'm going to do it from underneath the bridge. I'm going to go like this. Oh, there it is. And I'm going to connect to there. And then I'm going to remove this lane right here and replace it with a 2-lane road with a pivot point right there. Like that. Okay, so that is how you do that type of a connection. So basically what we have now is a road that bypasses into the city, but there's no on-ramps and off-ramps yet. So I need to add those on-ramps and off-ramps. And I can imagine that right here is probably a great place to do it. Remove all these little stub pieces. they can create problems when you're adding on-ramps and off-ramps and things like that, so you want them gone. I could imagine that someone would love to just go right from here to here. So we're going to try that, see how it works. And then maybe reconnect from here to here. And then do the same with this. And remove this piece here and replace it with a 2-lane piece like that, and remove that little stub. If you really want it to be perfect, you could replace this entire curve. So there we have one way to get on and off. You can see cars are already using it, which is cool. I will build another one. Ideally, it should be right around here. The question is where. I'm thinking that it's going to connect to here. This might completely fail. Oh, I did that wrong, didn't I? Okay, so I'm going to remove the first 2 off-ramps because I usually use a 2-lane off-ramp to start out with. This is a really tough connection over here, and it's probably going to have to go. This intersection over here is probably going to have to be moved so that it connects to this other road, because I can see that it's going to cause traffic problems. So I'm going to remove this, I'm going to remove this, I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to remove this. I'm going to put in a regular road connecting between here and here. And then I'm going to go back to my expressway and put an on-ramp like that. Well, we have to redo it. I am going to remove that. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to put an on-ramp from here to here. Make it look straight so it's nice and pretty. And put the off-ramp there. And then I'm going to have better traffic flow. What would happen is if you had that little intersection, the cars would back up on the off-ramp because only one car would be able to go at a time. Okay, now the question is, between these 2 on-ramp interchanges, should I build just 1 more or should I build 2 more? And I'm thinking I could go either way. And I'm looking at 2 more because I want my traffic to flow properly. So somewhere around here, I'm going to have another set. But we don't want to repeat that same problem. So I probably won't be able to do it there. This is going to be really weird. It's going to be a little difficult. And I hate knocking buildings down, that's for sure. But in the end, it's going to be worth it. Okay, so we've got another interchange, which is going to make people very happy. And then we're going to put another one here halfway somewhere. Even if it's just a partial interchange, it's still good. Like, you could have on-ramps with no off-ramps or off-ramps with no on-ramps. It's not that big of a deal. In fact, I have done that on this map. Okay, so there you have it. Now I've got a road that goes through the city, which makes it a little bit easier for people to get onto the highway. And I hope they don't use it as a bypass in order to avoid going around the city. That would really suck. But chances are they will do something like that. You can see there's a lot of traffic over here on this part of the interchange. Now we've got, let's see how this is doing. Over here, we do have highway going through the center of town with some interchanges. I don't know what this super long road is. That's crazy. I would like to see another interchange. You can see that there's a bug in the game where the highway goes into the water over here. Unfortunately, that bug does happen, and you won't be able to build over there. So I'm going to try and build another set of on-ramps and off-ramps over here. It's going to be real difficult. Super difficult. Well, I think I see some possibility. On-ramp is easy. Just got to go like this, and I've got an on-ramp. Oh, this is giving me that cannot build in the water thingy, which is too bad. This looks like a one-way street. So this type of an intersection might not work. Oh, it looks like it will. But the cars would be flowing in a reverse direction to get onto it. So it doesn't really make sense. Cannot build in the water, cannot build in the water. Well, that's too bad. Too bad for you. I really wish I could take advantage of this highway somehow. Well, the other thing I could do is I could kind of go around the city here. Let's see how we're doing over here. Okay, over here we need a highway that kind of goes through this area. There's a structure here which looks like it has cars backed up on it. I don't understand why. There's just a car just sitting there. Looks like a bug. So they're going to need another route that goes through the center of the city over here. So you're going to pick a road like this right here, one of these roads, and you build the same thing. And you decide if you want it to be 2-lane or 4-lane or whatever. I think I'm going to go with a 2-lane highway. So I'm going to start over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to count the number of lanes and sidewalk. So that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total. It's 5 lanes, 2 sidewalks is 7. which means that 1, 2, 3 are going to be devoted going in one direction and 3 in the other, plus we're going to have that little buffer in the middle. So the question is, can we build it without knocking buildings down? Yes, I did it. Okay, so we're going to have a side-by-side highway. And just so you know, you can use the regular road pieces if you want. However, if you use the regular road pieces, I don't think they act the same as a highway, so you might not get the same use out of them. But the roads will definitely fit, and it can be easier to do some of the connections if you use regular road pieces as opposed to highway pieces. And I have done it before, and I wasn't always happy with the results, but what you can do in the center of a city is you can make a very simple interchange using the regular road pieces because you might not get as much traffic. Okay, so I made the connection. It goes all the way across. I'm going to remove these stub pieces. So I got two things left to do. Number one, connect it to the rest of the highway system. And number two, make the interchanges. I hope that whatever's going on here is only a temporary bug. So this will connect by going over like so. And then we would connect this to this road right here. And obviously it's not a safe merge. Normally you wouldn't do merges like that, but this is just a video game. It's not real, so it doesn't matter. Now I'm going to go across the other way. He has to go at first 8 meters, but ultimately it's going to be 16 in order to cross himself. So I'm going to start at 12, kick it up to 16. Okay, so we made that. That is for the eastbound. Now we got to do the westbound. It's going to be simple. You just have to connect like this. Because it's a slope, it probably won't let me make the connection. Because this entire piece right here is a sloped bridge. So I'm going to have to probably do it from here. Which I know is really stupid, but that's the way it is. The only way to fix that is to remove this piece and rebuild it. I'm going to have it go to about here, and then I'm going to go back to the single lane, Okay, so we made that connection, and then the other connection will come probably from here to here. But unfortunately not. That's too bad. It won't let me build it. I really want to build it. Let's see if we can build this. Oh, this one I can. So I'm going to build that piece. I'm going to remove this little tiny piece, and I'm going to switch it to a 2-lane road. It's not going to do it because it's touching this other road, so I won't be able to do that. I'm going to restore it to 1 lane. Question is, how am I going to make that final connection? Oh, we could try using a regular one-way road. That might do it. Yeah, that did it. It works when sometimes the expressway pieces don't. Okay, so now we've got a new route on one end headed through another part of the city, and we've got to make connections on the other end. Difficult area because of the type of interchange. It would be nice. What I could do is connect it to this other T section over here. In fact, I could go over some of these industrial buildings. Or I could just connect it like I normally do, make another T connection to this interchange. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to remove these off-ramps. And build them differently later. Okay, there's something wrong where it's insisting on building a road someplace, and I can't make it not do it. Yeah, see, there's something really weird going on. I want to start it. Oh, okay, it's fixed now. So I want this to look nice. Obviously, part of it has to go over to the other side. Or shall I say under to the other side? Okay, so for now we'll keep it like that. If I want to change it, I'll change it later. It looks like I can't go under. There's a chance I might not be able to go under. Connect this up to here. I know it looks a little funky. So I will try again. It was from here. Excuse me. Okay, something like that. So I made the connection for one road, now I have to do it for the other. I'm going to also extend this from here to here. and I'm going to add a connection from here to here, but you want it to have more of a natural curve, so you put in like a pivot point right here, and then through magic it works. Okay, we'll see how this goes for now, but what's important is going to be this other road over here. And I'm going to remove this also. Let's see if I can connect this over to the other side. Looks impossible because it is. Okay, I see the problem. Because we're next to a road, it has to be at 8 meters in order to clear that road. Now the question is, how do I get down from the top level down to that connection? Okay, well at least I know I got to start. I'm going to rebuild this lower road. And I'm going to start from way back here. It's a really wide turn. Okay, so that's the connection. Now to restore the parts that were removed, for now I'm going to hold off because it might not be completely necessary. Because they could just as well get off at these new intersections that I'm building. The other thing about this video is that you can use these techniques with all sorts of video games. So it's not going to be just this video game that will have these types of building techniques. Build an off-ramp and another off-ramp. It's all the same. Okay, so the question is, do we build 2 or 1? I think I'm just going to go with the 1. If I don't like it, I could always build a second one later. Okay, now the question is, what do we do? Should we restore that intersection or not? The people that were getting off over here would now have to get off a block further away. Okay, I think I can do something here. We could have this road come off onto here. And perhaps these guys, come on, have these guys come up onto here. Or I could build a special road that they can ultimately connect to exclusively just for them. We could also try the one-way streets. You can see that there's a connection over here. But I think that they'll be fine. They just have to go a block further away. And you can see that there are cars using the new highway that I built. Okay, the other side of the map has a roadway going sort of east-west, but it doesn't have one going through this inner part of town over here. This area right here doesn't have a highway going through it. And again, you don't have to build going in both directions. Going in one direction is fine. Question is, where do you build it to make it the most effective? I'm thinking maybe to build it near this green line and maybe only going in one direction. I could do both directions, obviously. But if I do both directions, you have to make some sacrifices. Either I'm going to have to build one on one avenue and one over the other avenue, or I'm going to have to use one-lane roads. Or build it in a different location. Whew. And you know what? Considering that it might only have one on-ramp and off-ramp, maybe I could do something where it just kind of comes in and just stops. Like a feeder. So I would build it over... yeah, I'm just going to build it like a feeder or something. So I suppose I'm going to put it right over here. Well, I don't want to lose this interchange. I'd have to give up the interchange in order to do it. Okay, for now I'm going to skip it. Let's see how we're doing over here. Wow, we got a traffic jam. Got people trying to get on. I know how to fix this though, and that is to widen the highway over here. I'll show you how to do it right now. I'm going to build a highway piece that goes, let's say like this. And then I'm going to remove this piece here and replace it with a piece like this, which is a wider highway. So what's going to happen is when they merge, the people that are taking this on-ramp have their own lane. It's not going to be perfect, but sometimes it will definitely work. And the same is true for this off-ramp over here. If you make it a little bit wider, the cars that want to get off over here will queue up on the extra lane. So I'm going to do the same over here. I'm going to build like a little stub road like this. Remove this. Build a wider highway from here to here. So the cars that are turning right have their own little lane they can get into. And since there's a lot of cars getting off over here, I should probably widen this off-ramp. Got the same situation going on with this other road over here. That's why these types of roads are not that great. Because the cars have to stop. You want to try to get rid of these types of roads and replace them with highway roads. You know, obviously I think the ultimate problem is there's no highway up here. So these cars are getting into a traffic jam. So I'm going to have to build another highway extension that takes cars up into that area. And the question is, where do I build it? I see that there's a wide road over here that I could build something. So why don't I do that? I'm going to get a two-lane expressway, and I'm going to build it right here. There's a right lane. I'm centering it on that right lane when I build it. It's going to be difficult because you got to be able to see that yellow line. If you can't see the yellow line, it's not going to work. I don't think there's enough room. The only way this is going to work is if I use two lanes going in one direction, one lane coming back. Well, it kept that building. And I've certainly done it before. It's not that big of a deal. Oops, that didn't work. Hopefully those buildings will come back. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to probably cross it over like this. And build a road coming back. And hopefully it will come straight across without any problem. Nope. I hope it didn't knock down any buildings. It looks like it didn't. So I'm going to continue. Okay, and then take that and connect it to the main highway over here. As you can see, we have a lot less space to make those connections. However, I'll do whatever I have to do to make these connections happen. The first one I'm going to cross over here. There's got to be room for both roads, so he is going to cross over this way. Oh, I got it. Made a connection. I know it looks funny and it looks stupid, but for now I'm going to leave it. And he needs to go in the other direction also. So I will take this. Perhaps I could do it with a crossover. Like that. And now I need to get a connection from here. I know it looks really funny when it does these little things. Okay, so that one's probably not going to work. We could go under the ground. It's not that big of a deal. Obviously, when you go under the ground, you lose your ability to see what the traffic is like. Okay, so the other thing I want to do is I want to get it into a double lane road. So I'm going to try and do that right here. Okay, good. And make a connection from the lower level up to here. The question is, how? I'm going to remove this road and replace it with a new road that goes like this. And I'm going to get my expressway with a single lane and connect it like that. Okay, so it does look a little goofy. I'd like to fix this. Come on. I'm going to try and fix this turn right here. I think it looks better. Wow, that is a long road. Okay, one more shot. Whatever we get, we get. Okay, I'll take that. And I know it's not perfect. It's not what roads really look like. But we have a T interchange. And I'm going to remove the little stub pieces. And it looks like there's going to be more. And right here, okay, so now I'm going to add interchanges, on-ramps and off-ramps. And it looks like the best place to do it is going to be right here. We're going to put an on-ramp going like this. And we're going to put another one like this, which isn't that useful, but I'm going to put it in for consistency. Because they're not really going anywhere. There's nothing over there for them to go to. Yeah, the off-ramp is more important, so I'm going to remove the on-ramp and build the off-ramp first. Oh, come on. Where's my off-ramp? I want my off-ramp. Okay. What do we do? One lane road. What doesn't work? One lane road. I'm sorry, one way road. Let's try one lane. Hopefully we'll have more success. Really need this to work. I mean, that's the whole purpose of having this type of a roadway, is to make these types of connections. And sometimes you just have a road that's broken. Wherever you try to make a connection, it's just not going to work. Yeah, this is not making me happy. It's weird how it works one way but not the other. It makes no sense. Maybe there's something weird about the shape. It looks kind of normal to me. It's got a curve to it. When I say curve, I mean it's a slope. It's got a slope. And when you got those slopes, you can't build on the slope. I don't want to have to destroy this whole road again. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to remove this piece. I'm going to reconnect it. And there's your explanation as to why it doesn't work. It's got a weird slope, and it will not work. All I can do right now is cry about it. Oh, got something. Yes, so if you have a failed connection that doesn't work, try rebuilding the road. Sometimes that does the trick. I built that road and cars started driving on it immediately, before the pavement was dry. Okay, so there's another little highway. You can build all this stuff underground, and if you build it underground, it destroys less buildings. But I like to do it above ground so I can see all the cars driving around and things like that. Keep an eye on that traffic. There was a big traffic jam over here before. It looks like that traffic jam is now gone. We'll check various points in the city. I don't see any traffic jams. That's a good sign. Traffic is definitely moving. A lot of traffic going through here. And then the northern extension, where's that? Or did I not build it? I did. Okay, so that's how you build a lot of the road systems. And I think I'm going to take a break for now. I'm going to be continuing to work on the city in future videos. If you have any questions or comments, this is city number 2, so look for videos that are about city number 2. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. Oh, and also don't forget to save your game. You'll note that I have game 2 and game 2A. I save it twice, so that if I lose one of them, I can revert back to the old one.